Hi and welcome back to the channel. It's true, my name is Norf, and this week I'm in a bit of a tight spot. Yes, I am in a bit of a tight spot, as I have been for previous weeks. This week I thought that I would take you around the small bijou creative space that I work in. It's a new year, I've got some new merch, but it's the same Norf. Look, see, this is not coming off at all. No, it's still me. Yeah. The reason I put this together this week is that I wanted to show you don't need a huge amount of space to be creative. You can be creative in a tight spot and also a loose spot. Is that correct? The space that I'm in is a 6x6 box. I do have a window. I've got a door, fortunately, with the lock on the inside, not on the outside, which is great news, right? And I wanted to take you around the simplicity of the setup that I have that allows me to be creative. So if you're ready, let's get started. Space does come at a premium, and it does for us because we've got quite a large family. Mrs. Norf and I have 4 small people. Well, to be fair, they're probably not small anymore. So they've got the biggest rooms in the house. As they should, right? This then left me with the smallest room in the house, obviously discounting the space under the stairs. And right now, I know what you're thinking. Yes, our bathroom is bigger than my workspace. This meant that I had to think long and hard about how I use this space. Investing in the space meant that it needed to be affordable, and I had a pretty tight budget to work with. I wanted the space to be fully functional, yet pleasing to the eye. It's a space where I'll be spending a fair bit of time working in, so I wanted it to be comfortable, bright and airy, and a space for creativity to happen. That, of course, needed to be balanced with the fact that space is a premium, and storage of documents, folders, and equipment had to be very well thought through. It had to be a space that both myself and Mrs. Norf can work in comfortably, but not together, because it is very, very small. As well as clever storage for our documents, supplies, and gear. Although this room is approximately 6 feet square, or a tight spot I call it, we'll look at storage, my desk, we'll look at aesthetics, but first, my chair. My chair is a Herman Miller Mirra 2 chair, finished in white, and I rescued it from being thrown out. It needed a couple of extra bolts fitted to it, which I was sent and subsequently fitted. It comes with all the usual supports for your back, plus all the relevant adjustments as you'd expect. I started thinking about changing this small space in March 2020, and it all started with changing the light switch. I needed much more light in here, so took the opportunity to repaint the ceiling and the walls. The ceiling is painted a brilliant white matte finish, and the walls are a bluey grey colour. The specific colour is a Dulux paint called Goose. Massive creds to my eldest daughter who painted it all for me. It was her idea, and yes, she's an absolute legend. Once that was done, I opted for an adjustable light switch and these lights. I wanted an industrial look, so these were the lights that I chose, and I purchased them from a UK DIY store called Wix. They're finished in brushed silver and use 4 dimmable, cool white LED spotlights, the angles of which can all be fully adjusted. Next up was my desk, and having watched scores of YouTube videos, I settled on a 3 meter length of solid oak work surface. Having made the decision that I wanted an L-shaped desk, this was cut in a ratio of approximately 2/3 to 1/3 to maximize usable desk space. The join was made using glue and 10 pocket holes. I used a pocket hole jig to make the pocket holes. Once the join was made, the entire desk was sanded to a really smooth finish, and then I applied 3 coats of Danish oil. The desk then sits on 12 50mm adjustable stainless steel round cabinet feet, 4 on top of each of the 3 Ikea Alex units that I have for storage. To ensure these don't move, these are screwed to the top of the Alex units. And because of that gap, I can store paper in there. Woohoo! Under the desk, I've got a little bit of space for my Works backpack and my gimbal. Having moved the shelves onto the outer wall, it meant that I could use this inner wall to put up a couple of Ikea pegboards. Onto the lower pegboard, I've put on the things that I need regular access to, things like cables, my headphones, my tablet, oh, and of course my lightsabers. My setup is powered by a 2018 15-inch MacBook Pro. This sits just in front of the printer on an aluminium computer stand. When Mrs. Norf needs to print, all I need to do is just pull the MacBook Pro forwards. It's not ideal, but it works. Fortunately, there's only one cable going into the MacBook Pro, and that comes from the CalDigit USB 3.1 Type-C dock. Audio and the display are driven by this dock. The screen I'm using is the HP E344C 34-inch curved display. And to keep the desk clear, I'm using a heavy-duty Gear sprung-loaded monitor arm. This display makes such a massive difference, having upgraded from a 21-inch display. Audio is supplied by my Creative iTrieg 3000 2.1 speakers. They are a bit old, but they still work. At some point I will upgrade, but not just yet. I have absolutely fallen in love with my keyboard and mouse combo. I'm using the Logitech MX keys, and I'm using the Logitech MX Master 3 mouse. Wowzers, these are outstanding. I was using the Bluetooth Apple keyboard and the Mighty Mouse, but found this MX Logitech combo much more comfortable to use. Above my monitor, I've put out a few things to make me smile. The shelf on the outer wall also doubles up as a place where I can mount my microphone arm. I can swing it into action when I need it, and I can swing it out of the way for storage. The same principle applies for my large panel LED light. Inspired by DSLR shooters Caleb Pike, this large panel LED light sits on top of a monitor arm. Again, this can be swung into action when it's needed, and then for storage, it's actually put out of the way. And when I'm ready to create, the blind comes down, lights, microphone, camera, check, and we're off. And that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know, please leave me a comment where you find creativity, be it in big spaces or be it in tight spots, a little bit like this one. I hope you have enjoyed this content. I would love you to do 3 other things for me, please. If you like the content, please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel as well, and on your way down to leaving a comment, if you could hit that little bell as well, that would be great, because that means that you will be one of the first to know when I upload new content to the channel. Thank you so much for spending your time here, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.